Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going over the AP Computer Science A Unit 6 and Unit 7 progress checks. Basically, the questions that I missed and what I think the correct answers are for them. I'm not going to be going over the answers I got correctly, but I feel like from the answers that I missed, you'll have a pretty good idea of what this whole chapter is about, and going over my questions will help me correct my mistakes. I was originally thinking of doing a song for this, but I decided that for for computer science, it's weird. It's really weird to like sing a song about coding. Basically, I tried it for Unit 3, and I think it worked fairly well with the Shape of You parody. It's fairly catchy and stuff. Like I feel like for this, a song is not the best way. I'll still use the songs for things like AP Calc and maybe AP Lit, but for AP Computer Science, I'll be using these screencasts most of the time if I ever want to like go over a progress check or whatever. So, and also after this, I'm going to just give my like honest opinion on AP Classroom, like whether it's like a good source for learning AP Computer Science, and really my whole opinion is like the AP Computer Science A course as a whole. Okay, so let's get to it. So let's start with the Unit 6 progress check. So here, not active, it's under completed. So let's go to Unit 6 progress check MCQ. This one I got a pitiful score of 6 out of 14. This I think is quite ridiculous. Like imagine for a second, like, cause like I'm a Mac OS developer. I've built the entire app here, MacBot. It's basically an app they can use to access ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Copilot, and Poe. There will be a link in the description if you want to download it. It's $2 and it's highly worth it to use these AI services on your Mac. This here supports a menu bar stuff. And like you can see, like I use ChatGPT. I use it to help me solve my AP Calc problems. And I use it for coding, of course, and I've used it a lot to help this app. So like this kind of, it's like because I code a lot in a way, basically like using the help of ChatGPT, using the help of an IDE, I have found the AP material to be a bit like challenging in the sense where it's like it's just like different from that, because like you really can't use any IDE, you can't really use any outside source. You kind of like think theoretically. So like that's I feel like where I tripped up the most. Because like even though like I am definitely a complex coder, I'm definitely a great coder, it's just like the theoretical aspect is a bit hard for me. And like unfortunately that's what college computer science almost is like. But like I'm going to save most of these opinions for after I'm done going over the questions. Just before, I want to show you quickly, it's a sample of my code from MacBot. This is my Mac app that I showed you here. It is just so you can see. Like I'm great at coding stuff like this. Like it's like practical coding and stuff. And seeing like the developer is such a complex app, you never expect that I would be struggling with computer science. But hey, it happens. So, by the way, from that screen, it was my partner who worked on the app with me. So let's go to the questions of this now. So the first question I got wrong was question 3, which is correct calls to check string. Consider the following method. I'm not going to read code because I hate that. Which of the following code segments compile without error? The first one, this 1, 2, or 3. So the options are A, 2 only, B, 3 only, C, 1 and 3 only, D, 2 and 3 only, and E, 1, 2, and 3. So the answer that I chose was answer B, incorrect. Statement 2 compiles because it only correctly creates an array of size 0. That is not correct. The correct answer is D. It's correct because the size of an array must be established when the array is created, either by explicitly specifying the size in the brackets or implicitly by using an initializer list. Statement 1 does not compile because the array size is missing. Statement 2 compiles because it correctly creates an array of size 0. Statement 3 compiles because it does not create an array of size 2 using an initializer list. So let's actually, so let's compile this into an IDE so you can see what's up. So we're making an untitled class. I'm using, switch the language to Java. So we're going to put inside the, not just format it to make it look nice, format, hold on. Yeah, auto indent here. And then we're going to try copying in our method. So we're going to start with method 1. We're going to see if that compiles without error. Array dimension missing. This is the error here at least. So that will not compile. So now let's check the second one. Runs fine. So that works, we know. So 2 works, and 3, we're going to define the string array first, and then we are going to do the check string method, and it works just fine. So that we know works. Let's delete this. We don't need this anymore. This next one I got wrong was question 4, which is changing an array R with a for loop. So this one again, you have to consider the following code segment, which of the following represents the contents of R after the code segment has been executed. So this would be like very easy with an IDE. You could easily just compile this with one run. But alas, doing this in my brain was a bit challenging. So I put answer E. And this is incorrect because this result will be produced if the loop header was for int x equals 0, x is less than r length minus 1, and then x added. I really hate reading code, so that's wrong. But answer C, so it's correct. The code segment starts with the second element of the array, the element index 1, and adds the correct element to the next element of the array. The code will set the third element to 20 plus 30, which is 50. It will then set the fourth element to 50 plus 40, which is 90. Finally, it will set the last element to 90 plus 50, which is 140. So let's copy and paste this into our IDE to see if what AP is saying is correct. So let's do that right now. So again, I'd like to do, I think Control I, that's a shortcut in Code Runner, which I use. We have to actually do system, actually, what should we do? Let's see if system out print line R works. So you see this coding with me, I'm keeping this unscripted. Yeah, that doesn't work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sum Macbot in this global view, and we're gonna ask it to add a way to print the contents of the array. So Command Control B, the second axis Macbot. So you can see it comes with a global window like this. You can resize it and to make it bigger. So this again is showing an AppDI code action, which allows you to easily ask ChatGPT for this. Perfect for like when you need to like ask AI to help you with their code and stuff. So anyway, let's copy this in here. We're just gonna ask it to, to create a statement to print the array. It's just something I don't know off the top of my head per se, but like this can help us. So let's copy this code right here, and we're going to print it. So we will see 10, 20, 50, 90, and 140, and that matches with answer C. So that's good right now. Next one is another one which theoretically could work with an IDE, but because I did in my brain, it was a bit harder. So for this one, I put answer A, which is incorrect because the value of the byte to be produced at the body of the loop was executed 5 times. It would occur in the loop header for in k equals 0, k is less than r length in k plus plus. I didn't need to read the code. So now, and then B is correct. So during the first iteration of the for loop, the Boolean expression r0 mod 2 equals 0 or 4 mod 2 equals 0 evaluates a true. So true is incremented by 4 becoming 4. During the second iteration of the for loop, the Boolean expression r1 mod 2 equals 0 or 3 mod 2 equals 0 evaluates a false. So the total is decremented by 3 becoming 1. At this point, the Boolean expression k, which is less than or equal to total, or 2 less than or equal to 1, evaluates a false, and the for loop terminates. The current value of total 1 is printed. So that kind of explains it. So we're now going to paste into our IDE and see if we got that. So let's remove the current code, and we're going to paste it in. And again, Control I, just to make sure it's in good order. And this should already print same, so we don't need to figure that out. We'll print 1. So that is correct with B. So now, next one, 6. The array fruits is declared below. Which of the following code segments cause an array index out of bounds exception? So this one, I put 1 and 3 only, because I thought that it would basically, or if it's like from int I equals 1 to and to the I less than fruits length, it would still cause that, since it would go like one more in the array. But it says that C is incorrect because code segment 3 iterates I from 1 to 4. Since it accesses the array at elements index I minus 1, it accesses the array elements at indices 0 to 3 without error. So C is wrong, and A is the correct answer according to the AP. So code segment 1 iterates I from 0 to 4. The last element is at index 3. So an array index out of bounds exception occurs with attempting to access the element at index 4. Code segment 2 iterates from 0 to 3. It accesses every element of the array without error. Code segment 3 iterates I from 1 to 4. Since it array elements at index I to 1, it accesses the array and elements and it indexes 0 to 3 without error. So just in case you just please pardon the noise in the background. That's my P tag running. It's an annoying thing, but it's something they deal with living in an apartment. But anyway, so let's try running this in IDE to see what we get. So we are going to copy all this code into our IDE. Right now we're going to just delete the other code. So let's first copy the string array, and then we're going to copy each of these three methods to see which one would cause the array index out of bounds exception. So the first one does. Let's check the second one. It does not. And the third one, let's check it. It does not. So that's good. So next one I got right. Next one I got right. I'm not going to go over the ones I got right because it's a waste of time. I already know how to do that. This next one I got wrong. The code segment below is intended to set the Boolean value duplicates to true if the int array R contains any pairs of duplicate elements. Assume that R has been properly declared and initialize it. Which of the following can replace missing loop header so the code segment works as intended? I put B, and I thought it was that because I was really unsure because they're all pretty similar, but I chose But it says here incorrect because it would cause the inner loop to start the beginning of the array for each iteration of the outer loop. This would cause every element of the array to be compared to itself, setting duplicates to true even when the array does not have duplicate elements. And that's wrong. So answer D is correct because the outer loop will iterate through all the elements of the array. For each iteration in the outer loop, this loop header will cause the inner loop to examine all elements that come after the current element. This will ensure no element is ever I should move this to compared with itself. So now let's copy this into our IDE so we can see what we're working with. Actually, is there, let's see if there's a way to like print it. There is not. Actually, you know what? Let's see. Can't print a Boolean. So let's avoid the IDE for now for this problem. So question 12. Reverse num array. In this code segment below, assume that int array num array has been properly declared and initialized. The code segment is intended to reverse the order of the elements in num array. For example, if num array initially contains 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, it should contain 9, 7, 5, 3, 1 after the code segment executes. So it's asking for a missing loop header. Which of the following can be used to replace missing loop headers so the code segment works intended? This was a big weakness for me as well. So I put answer D, which is incorrect because with this loop header, the code segment will iterate through the array from right to left, swapping the element K positions from the front of the array, the element K positions from the end of the array. As K proceeds past the middle of the array, the code segment will swap elements back into the original positions. So that is wrong, basically, and A is correct, because with this loop header, the code segment, so A is basically for int K equals 0, K is less than numR dot length divided by 2, and K plus plus. This is correct because with this loop header, the code segment will iterate through the array from left to right, swapping the element K positions from the front of the array with the element K position from the end of the array. The loop terminates when K has reached the middle of the array, leaving the array elements in reverse order. Let's see about running this in an IDE right now. So we're going to, actually, this is really a second. I was like, I don't really want to set this up in the IDE right now, so I'm not going to do that. Now, actually, what we could do is, wait, we don't need to. College Board explanation is good enough, I think. So, next one I got wrong was question 13, which is the initial value of maximum. Consider the following code segment, which tend to print the maximum value in integer array values. Assume that the array has been initialized properly and that it contains at least one element. So, which of the following should replace the missing initial value so that the code segment works as intended? I put answer E, which is integer.max value. Incorrect, because the code segment will not work as intended because it will always print integer max value. The correct answer is B, which is value 0. The code segment compares each integer in the array after the first to the maximum. If an integer is the maximum integer found so far, maximum is assigned that integer. By initializing maximum to value 0, the first element in the array will be the maximum integer found so far. Any subsequent integer will be compared to the maximum integer found so far, and the code segment will work as intended. So let's try this in IDE. This one actually seems like we can actually relatively easy copy this. So let's add right here. Let's try each of our options. Let's start with 0. Int maximum equals 0. So is this going to be an array? An error actually? Hold on a second. Let's auto indent so we can see. anything. You know what? I think we don't have enough brackets. We don't have enough braces. So now this will not work. This actually, we have a problem. We didn't declare the values array, so that means we cannot test this in the IDE. So anyway, it's like that's why I feel like, I don't know, it should be more like runnable of some sort. This is not. There's no really easy way to test this in IDE unless you had to like code the array yourself. All right, so question 14. Precondition for position of first negative method. Consider the first negative method. Tend to return the index of the first negative integer in a given array of integers. So it's public in. I'm not going to write the code. What preconditions needed in the values array so the method will work as intended? I put C, which is the array values must contain at least one positive integer. This is incorrect because while having at least one positive integer in the array is acceptable, it is not a sufficient precondition for the method to work as intended. Without having at least one negative integer in the array, the method will throw an array index out of bounds exception because the Boolean expression in the while loop will always be evaluating the true, causing the loop variable index to be incremented until it goes beyond the end of the array. So it must contain at least one negative integer. That's correct. Because in order for the method to work as intended, the array cannot be empty and there must be at least one negative integer in the array. If the array is empty, then trying to access any array element will cause an array exception to be thrown. If there are no negative integers, the loop variable index will be continued to be incremented until it goes beyond the end of the array, also causing an exception to be thrown. A precondition that requires at least one negative integer to be in the array will guarantee that neither of these scenarios will occur and the method will work as intended. Okay, guess it makes sense. So let's now go to the Unit 7 progress check, and we're going to, this one I took technically yesterday. It's actually, I can't believe it's now Saturday, actually. It's like, really, it's pretty late at night, but like, I'm night owl like this. Anyway, kind of off topic comment, but I just, like, this is basically, I took this date technically yesterday, but like I didn't sleep since I took it basically. Anyway, so this is like very new to me, and I was quite shocked because like this one seemed a lot easier than the other one. I was quite shocked they only got 11 out of 18. But let's see here. So we have quite a few problems to go over. First question, question 7. Array list, my list. These I think we can all run in IDE. So consider the following code segment. What output is produced as a result of executing the code segment? So I put answer E, which is 2, 4. And I used scrap here to help me solve this. But it's incorrect because if I mod, because the output, because this would be the output if I mod 2 equals 0 was replaced with I mod 2 equals 1. So so the correct thing would be 1, 3. That would be correct because the first loop adds the values of 1 through 4 inclusive to my list. In the second for loop, each time an even index is encountered, the value of that index is printed. For the even indices 0 and 2, the values 1 and 3 are printed. So let's do this. Let's copy and paste the tiny just see our answer. We have to import. Again, thanks to MacBot, we could just search up how to. Let's use Gemini this time. Let's spice it up. How to import array list. Java. So import java.util.ArrayList. This sounds cool. Just uses the AI ask for this, so you don't really need to, but helps. So anyway, it would print 1.3, which is not what I got, but that's what AP says correct. So next up we have this. It was a similar error, and it would have been, and I put answer B, which is BD, and it would have been incorrect because this would be the result of the concept if ArrayList is printed after the for loop instead of them being printed as they're being removed. So that couldn't be AC because during the first iteration of the loop, I is the value of 0 and the size of the array list is 4. So the element at index 0A is removed and printed. During the second iteration of the loop, I is the value 1 and the size of array list is 3. So the element at index 1C is removed and printed. During the third comparison of I and array list size, in the loop header, I is the value 2 and the size of the array list is 2. So the loop terminates. So let's copy this code segment and see what happens. I absolutely hate how to put every code into like a public static void main string args. This is one of the few things I hate about Java. Like I honestly wish I could create an IDE basically for Java where I could basically do top level code like you can in Python, and it would just automatically like do like on the back end it would like put into these methods and stuff. That would be so much better, I think. Also maybe like allowing like multiple classes in one file. Just for me it helps with organization, it helps like because like I do that a lot on Swift, I do that all on Python. Just it helps with that. And the correct answer is AC. Yes, we know now. I'm not going to go over any of the ones I got correct because I do not want to waste all of y'all's time. So 13. Consider the method sequential search, which takes an array list of integer elements and int value as parameters and returns the index of the first appearance of the target value in the list, or -1 if the target value does not appear in the list. Public static int sequential search array list integer elements int target. For int j equals 0, j less than element size, j ++. If elements dot get j equals target, return j, return -1. How did I do reading this code overall? I do not typically like reading code, but I thought, why not this time? Anyway, so I selected answer A, which is the modification has no effect. The modified method will continue to return the index of the first appearance of the target value in the list, or -1 if the target value does not appear in the list. It is incorrect, because modifying the sequential search method in a way that causes it to search the list from right to left instead of from left to right. If the target value appears in the list more than once, the modified method will return a value different from the one returned by the original method. So that's wrong. And the correct answer is answer B, which is the modified method will return the index of the last appearance of the target value in the list, or -1 if the target value does not appear in the list. And this is because modifying the sequential search method in the way that causes it to search from the list from right to left instead of from left to right. As a result, when the target value does not appear when it does appear in the list, the index of the last appearance of the target value is returned instead of the index of the first appearance. So this would be hard to illustrate in IDE. I thought there'd be no errors, like, because typically in linear search there is no errors, but I can see it would just do basically the other way, kind of just do the indexes in reverse. So 15 is the next one they got wrong. So consider the method sequential search, which implements a sequential search algorithm. Public int seek. I'm not reading code anymore. Which of the following best describes the difference in behavior of seek search 2 in relation to seek search as a result of the modification. So I put answer D, which is the modification seek search 2 would cause -1 to be returned for all inputs. This is incorrect because method seek search 2 only returns -1 when the target does not appear in R. So I do not think this would be easy to illustrate in IDE, so I'm not going to do that right now. Next, what I missed is 16. This is also similar. It's considered correct implementation of the insertion sort algorithm. The following declaration method call appear in a method in the same class insertion sort. How many times is a statement possible index in line 10 of the method executed as a result of the call to insertion sort? So I put C, which is incorrect because the statement in line 10 is executed each time an element is shifted to the right. There will be 4 shifts to the right if, for example, the array initially contained 8, 10, 3, 4. And the correct answer, therefore, would be D, which is correct because the while loop iterates one time once each time an array is shifted to the right as a result of an insertion. Therefore, the statement in line 10 is executed each time an element is shifted to the right. For the given array, 10 is shifted to the right when 8 is inserted before it. Then 8 and 10 are each shifted right when 3 is inserted before them. Lastly, 8 and 10 are each shifted right when 4 is inserted before them. A total of 5 shifts occur, so the statement in line 10 is executed 5 times. So 17. We're almost done. Consider the correct implementation of the insertion sort algorithm. Public static void I hate reading code. I like reading it to myself is okay. Reading it aloud is just... Code is not meant to be read aloud. I just don't think. Anyway. Answer D. This is incorrect because the statement in line 12 executes once each time an element is inserted into the array. It would execute 6 times for an array that contained 7 elements. That's what I thought. You know, that is wrong. So, correct. So answer C is correct, which is the statement in line, which is 5. The answer to C is 5, which is correct. So the statement in line 12 executes once each time an element is inserted into the array. The number of insertions is 1 less than the length of the array. For this array, the statement is executed for a total of 5 times when 7 is inserted before 8, when 5 is inserted before 7, when 4 is inserted before 5, when 2 is inserted before 4, and when 1 is inserted before 2. Okay. Makes sense. And question 18. Consider the following correct implementation of the selection sort algorithm. So the following declaration method will appear in the same class selection sort. How many times is the statement elements min index equals temp in line 19 of the method executed as a result of the call to selection sort? That'll be 4, because I thought basically it would be, this is pretty hard. I thought it would be like kind of like 1 less than the actual thing, I think. But so this is incorrect because the statement in line 19 executes each time a value is swapped into the correct position of the array. 4 swaps would occur, for example, if the array initially contained 30, 40, 50, 10, 20. For this array, the method would first swap elements 10 and 30, resulting in 10, 40, 50, 30, 20. The method would then swap elements 20 and 40, resulting in 10, 20, 50, 30, 40. The method would then swap elements 30 and 50, resulting in 10, 20, 30, 50, 40. And then the method would swap. This is the explanation for would swap elements 40 and 50, resulting in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So that is basically the explanation for that one. So C is 3, which is correct, because the statement in line 19 executes each time a value is swapped into the correct position of the array. For the given array, the values of 30 and 10 are swapped. Then the values of 40 and 20 are swapped. Then since 30 is in the correct position, no swap occurs. Lastly, 50 and 40 are swapped. So there's more efficient stuff, I think, overall. And it's the most efficient way to sort it, I think. So now that we're done with this, I'd like to, I'm sure you don't want to see an AP classroom dashboard anymore. So, and I don't really want to show my face. So I'll probably give you a nice desktop background to look at while I explain the whole thing. Let me actually go in here and find something that we should look at for this. Potentially, let's travel actually to the beautiful Patagonia Lake. Actually, no. I have to download that. Like, I have fast internet. Yeah, I have fast internet here, I think, but like I still don't know if like downloading is a good idea. But this is literally unscripted. I'm literally kind of taking on like a live stream of my thing. And there's not really live stream, I'm gonna record it, but like my internet is pretty fast. It can't be fast, I can't like up to 800, but I don't. But like it's like Wi-Fi interference. I live in an apartment, it's not as a problem. But anyway, don't want to get too off topic of this. Let's just look at the Oregon sunset. So now they have this beautiful Oregon sunset to look at. I'd like to give you some of my opinions on AP Computer Science A as a whole, and why I think quite frankly, it's not like, at least how my school is teaching it, I feel like it's pretty bad overall. It's not a great representation of like my skills as a coder. Because like, first and foremost, I basically, by all intents and purposes, I got 6 out of 14, which would be 42.8% on the Unit 6 lesson check, or progress check, and let's see, 11 out of 18, which would be 61% on the other one. I think it's terrible. These are technically failing grades, and this definitely does not show my true ability as a coder. I feel like, as you've seen before with MacBot, the code that I've made for MacBot is very impressive, as you could see. Definitely, it's like we have like all these things that basically control like the browser view for it, like basically control like the WebKit view, and like control like these neat like intricate animations, like the swiping between pages. We have first off for the web view. Next we have our native view, which really shows like the code and stuff. We have an API, like a GPT API, and like an OpenAI API, and we can like really like talk to it, and it'll give you a response when you chat it. Let's actually ask it. Actually, I have an idea. Let's ask our own API. What are your opinions? It's not our own OpenAI API, but we're using my app. And it's calculating tokens. My partner was able to create kind of like a function to judge, not judge, like figure out like roughly how much you'd be charged by OpenAI for this query. Let's see. So I'm gonna ask the API to see. So you can see it's giving an iMessage tab, bubble view and stuff. So it is a rigorous course that covers fundamental programming concepts using a Java programming language. It provides a solid foundation in computer science and coding principles that are essential for understanding more advanced topics in the field. In my opinion, taking AP Computer Science A is a great way to build a strong coding foundation. This course covers important topics such as data structure, algorithms, and object-oriented programming, which are key concepts that are used in many different areas of computer science. Additionally, the course also teaches problem-solving skills and critical thinking, which are essential for anyone looking to pursue a career in coding or computer science. Overall, I believe that AP Computer Science A is a valuable course that can provide students with the necessary skills and knowledge to succeed in the field of coding. And like, I agree that's true. It definitely is. And I feel like definitely taking it has provided me with those benefits. But I also believe that like getting a 42 out of 50 is not representing like the fact like I can code this stuff. I can really like I'm a really good coder, and I'm making money from these app stuff. Like I'm really like, the thing is also ChatGPT helped me code this. My partner helped me code this. And IE helped me code this. Really a lot of like different like things overall. And that's ultimately what the real world is like. Really, in the real world, you're not going to be forced to like figure out algorithms kind of like out of the blue per se with just your brain and no IDE to help you with. It's like I'm not a big fan of like the closed book style of learning. I think a better option probably could have been like allowing an IDE on the AP CSA exam. Just use Blue Book for it, like Blue Book, which is like kind of like how like we take like the digital SATs and stuff, or and some of the digital AP exams. Just use Blue Book. You could. I'm not going to assign it right now, but this was a great way to take the digital SAT. It was a great way for. So I actually went up to Canada to take it because I felt like it was just a much better test for me overall. So, and I got a 1450 on it compared to my 1330 on paper SAT. So I feel like an IDE built into Blue Book could be a great idea. I could show you like how I would implement it probably actually. So let me mirror my iPad again. So I'm doing this kind of like showing some of my like favorite Mac apps. This one was not one that I created. It's called Bezel. It's one that I got from another developer. But let's see. So we have our iPad right here. Let's see. It's going to connect, and let me just I'll sketch out like how I think the AP Computer Science A exam could look with an idea. Let's here's my AP Calc notes. I want to see anyway. Let's just sketch something. So this would be say this here is your laptop screen. This here is your exam screen, let's say. Just a rough sketch. So you could, for example, say create so this would be so there's a concept for how an IDE could work. Let me say the code editor, because not everyone knows what an IDE is. So you basically use a type element. So you basically do says string. I don't know the full. So you can run in, and then you can basically put so you basically run the code in the IDE basically like this. This is my concept for an AP Computer Science exam, because the IDE would still not be having acts like ChatGPT with it, but it would be just having more of a definitely more ways to focus on not just getting the syntax or getting the logic right. Just with AP Computer Science, it's kind of a combination of getting the syntax right and getting the logic right. And I felt those two things together have really been tripping me up a bit. And so it's I feel with the AP Computer Science A, the best way to teach it is really not with the AP Daily videos. I found the AP Daily videos, they're kind of cool, but they're not really on their own. Because how my school kind of does is AP Computer Science A is kind of an elective class here, it is at most schools. My school's also, unlike most schools, a vocational major school. My school has basically how we do it is my school basically has a few distinct majors and academies, including arts majors, design and fabrication, which major computer science is in, and basically other culinary and science major stuff. So basically the computer science major at my school is in the design and fabrication academy. So you're basically kind of like college, they're distinct academies. But in this CTE major, we have 2 periods of computer programming with Java, and then we have AP CSA as an elective on top of it. People want to take the exam and want to learn even more and stuff like myself. It's like I really see myself like majoring in computer science in college. I see myself becoming a professional developer. Like I just really see myself doing this. But like the problem with this setup is that the AP material is not the exact same as like the material that we're doing in our textbook. So with the textbook, basically this is the textbook. This is real college textbook, and my Mac is kind of glitching out. I should restart. It's surprising because I recently got an M3 Max. It shouldn't be happening, but whatever. But basically, like this is what we're learning right now. And it's like what we're doing. Like we're learning about we're learning about like more like advanced programs, kind of more kind of like in a more like more like practical than like theoretical. I feel like in college, though, programming is more theoretical. CS is more theoretical, but I feel like in the real world, practical is better. And I definitely am much better at practical than theoretical programming. It's like I feel like if you're good at programming, be a programmer. Don't worry necessarily if you're not like the most theoretical. That's like what I think. It's like even though it's like very useful in college, only in the real like software engineering jobs, I spoke to like software engineers, there's like zero theory in it. It's like really try to focus on the practical stuff, focus on building apps, focus on building your portfolio that way. If you don't want to do theory, like focus on building a great front end, focus on making great UI design. Like for example, like in here, let's going back to MacBot, we have like clear there's a lot of attention and detail in the UI design. GPT chat view, this is our backend code. It's like this is where like most of like our thing happens. Like we have arrays, like we have the array append method. We have things where it basically hooks up with the system clipboard. We have a way to cancel the test. Basically, the streaming test is kind of like really like use like the OpenAI API and really kind of does the backend. So it's like there's all these like synchronous, asynchronous functions, like things that you wouldn't like learn in AP computer science class, but like they're ultimately based on the principles of it. But like when it's in action in an applied way, applied computer science is where it's really beneficial. I think that's where it should really be more than like theoretical, because like this app here is not really about theory. Like I feel like understanding the theory, taking AP Computer Science A and all this stuff has helped me, but my AP Computer Science A test scores are not the best way to show my work programming. Because of course, this is really impressive for an 18-year-old, honestly. For like even for the two of us, for high school students, pretty impressive to like make like such an app and stuff. And my partner Abe, he was the one who made the file, but like we worked on it together. So I feel like overall, this is basically. Oh, I'm just. Please bear with me. I'm a scripted now, but I wish that. Let's look it up. Why is CS more theoretical than practical? So, theoretical focus on like more like data structures, algorithms, and math, while practical degrees focus on implementation. That's kind of like the biggest difference between my computer programming 3 class that's basically my CTE class and AP Computer Science A. And it's been causing problems for me. Because like I am definitely more practical than theoretical in terms of like everything. And I wish that colleges would focus more on the practical major, because like I feel like overall we are not going to, if you just know all the theory but don't really know how to use it, how long will it take you? Like there's a difference between, for example, being able to pass a test in how well you swim versus actually like pass a written test on swimming versus actually swimming. Like if for example, like if I gave you a lecture on basically how to swim, it's like every single aspect of swimming, I gave you a lecture on it, and then maybe you take a written test. You probably do very well in the written test. So when you go into the actual pool, you went to the well in the pool. Meanwhile, if I actually went into the pool and actually taught you how to swim, you would most likely actually, or like if I went to like this ocean right here, you'd most likely actually learn to swim better, even if you wouldn't like necessarily know how and like be able to put into writing. That's how I really feel like my skills in coding are. It's like I know how to, but I can't put into writing, and that's really the biggest problem with AP CSA for me. And let's see how colleges are accepting it actually. So Stevens Institute of Technology is a college that I am most likely going to go to. I got into their Pinnacle Scholars program, like their honors program is pretty good. And let's see, AP credit. So for AP Computer Science A, you would need to get a 4 or a 5 on the exam. I got a 4 on the AP Computer Science Principles exam, but I would receive credit for CS 105. I would actually also receive the AP Computer Science Principles. So theoretically, I don't have to do that well on the exam. Just take AP CSP after all, maybe. AP CSA I don't think is worth it for the vast majority of people. AP CSP is actually quite fun. I can show you, even for my performance task, a password generator actually in Swift UI. It was my first ever iOS and macOS app. Let me do it. It's really actually, I made it kind of I inspired it based on the iOS and macOS password. Not password, but it's like set it menu. Let's see, password 2. So you can see basically it create a random string with this. Pretty self-explanatory, like not very hard to do. Let me go to passgen.xcode project so we can see what exactly we're working with. And let's actually, just for fun, we're going to run this. Let's run this in the Apple Vision Pro just for fun as well. So we have the thing. It's a very simple one-line thing. We have, of course, all of our operating system specific buttons. So it's like we went a bit like, I mean not we, but I kind of like, I made it like cool though I went above and beyond kind of being like at home on iOS and macOS. So we have basically like a lot of UI code, and then here is our functions. Not very much like boilerplate stuff, but it was quite cool making this app and stuff. And overall, AP CSP was actually quite cool. We got to really learn a lot about like these basic functions as well as like for loops. We got to learn about all those other things, kind of like Python or like whatever language you use, Swift, whatever, and got to really make a program. It was fun. We also got to learn about a bit of like cybersecurity 101, like kind of like everything computing related, like networks, all this stuff. It's like so cool. I highly recommend that people, that if you're debating between taking AP CSP and AP CSA, if your college will let you in terms of the credit, first research the college, check the website and stuff. But like in my case with Steve and stuff, I really should have just taken just AP CSP. I don't think that CSA would have been worth it in hindsight. But let me just, I noticed that my iPhone actually, I got a new iPhone because I noticed it's not actually registered my developer account. So I'm going to just actually quickly, let me just plug it in actually so it'll register. And actually, yeah. So here is, this is actually also, let me show the app running on my iPhone. This is actually quite cool. Just kind of a little chat right now. You don't have to watch this whole thing, but sounds just like having these like little chats a bit. Yeah, connect via network. Oh man, I hate how Apple has this like developer mode restriction now. I'll figure this out off camera, but in the meantime, let's just try seeing how my app would work on Apple Vision Pro. Just curious, actually, while I'm at it right here. Let's see. So here's our Apple Vision Pro simulator. I actually had the Real Vision Pro and I returned it. But anyway, it's kind of topic. Not now. Let's go home. And we can see the app works perfectly fine on Vision OS. So it's actually so cool. Honestly, so cool. Let's do. Oh no, actually, we have issue. Like, of course, like this is an AP CSP project before Vision Pros even come out. Actually, it's like it doesn't be perfect for. It doesn't be perfectly optimized for it. But anyway, like this is just a bit of a. Let's actually just quickly do a bit of debugging right now, actually. I mean, while we're at it, just for fun. Let's go to the... Top, man. So we're gonna make it primary for the background color, just to see. It's like, again, like you see, like I am pretty quick at like coming up with like debugging solutions like this. Especially here, let's see. Let's just see if this works. We actually have a bit of a problem. There is no way to like formally run. Yeah, this is, anyway. This is what you got from going live, everyone, but I just wanted to show you a bit of how I as like a student, ultimately like a student developer really, feels about AP Computer Science A. On top of all this, I want to show you a bit of my work while I was at it, and just like have kind of like a bit of a fireside chat with you, kind of like I'd say. It's like for an hour, and just really, I mean, for all of like your small audience, it's like basically seeing as like more than just someone who like makes these cringy educational songs. First of all, they're not really cringy actually when you really think about it. And let's see. So we're going to go to my channel. Actually, let's just go here, and we're going to see, like, I'm going to make more songs. I'm planning on making one on optimization, on linearization. I think I'm probably going to do linearization one actually today. I'm probably going to do optimization as well, I think, sometime soon. And a few more. Maybe a few more. I'm probably going to work with one of them with like one of my friends, like I did with the implicit differentiation one. But like, I also, first of all, on my channel, I really have to give a negative shout out to Art Ebotastic. These comments have just been straight up mean. I delete them because like I feel like it's just so mean. Like, are you singery? That was not even the worst part. Are you singery? Like of course, like I can't memorize my lyrics that well. I'm not a talented singer. I'm going to sound not going to be great at that. But like I do not want that to stop me from. I feel like music is a great medium for remembering information. So if I'm not a talented singer, but I feel like singing helps me remember things, I should do it. I feel like I'm at heart, I'm a developer. I'm not a singer, but I still like making educational songs. I feel like they help me do stuff. I was inspired by this person actually right here. Let's go. Yeah, Sweetha Chandru, Melodies for Math. I was inspired by her. She started making math songs. Like she was originally in varsity choir for it. Like she was a real big inspiration to like making these songs for me. And like I feel like I took cues from these and I made it better ultimately. So let's go back to my channel. I decided not to like give like a special like name. Like I didn't want to like associate with anything right now. But like you see, like I clearly took cues from it. And like I have a soft spot for the arts in general. Like I also absolutely hate, so to say this one more time, My channel's the biggest, and I'm not really trying to make it big. Absolutely hate the hate comments, though. That is not our Evo-tastic. If you're watching this, please just keep these feelings to yourself. It's not fair for the rest of us who actually like it. In fact, I haven't deleted it, but let me find your stupid channel. So, actually, this is for my first time discovering my channel actually right now. Yeah, you copied. It's like, look,
okay,
it looks
so
like he's also taking Java actually. I'm not gonna already task. I don't want to react to your video. I feel like I know it's kind of wrong, but like, oh, why is my Mac lagging? It's because his cursor is hard. This is weird. This is very weird. But anyway, let's pretend this thing. He's running macOS Catalina actually. So primarily, but anyway, it's like you copy and paste someone else's program, make it stupid. So he's kind of like, it's fine though. He's taking Java. It's like probably a high school student just like me and stuff who's taking these things. And I don't blame you if you don't like. Trust me, a song does not work as a memorization method for everyone. You do not have to yuck someone else's yum. That's what my AP Lit teacher said. Just because it doesn't work for you, it's not fair for the rest of us. Really, it's not. And I just wanted to get all this thing across. Main takeaways of this video I've say was, of course, to go over my AP CSA questions, to show you how like I as like a student developer kind of like feel about AP CSA and all, and just like how I feel about like it's like, and also kind of like how I feel about like making songs for the channel, like why I do it and stuff. It's kind of like just like a personal chat. Really, it's like it really just kind of like went all over the place. But like I really felt like I tried to explain as much as possible about this in this video, and I wanted to be fully transparent. So, thank you very much for watching. I know this was a long one, but just have a good day, everyone.